Steve Schofield, John Walmsley, Calvin Tatum. There, number 10, John Halsey, and up behind Russell. And Alan John Lewis. Number 22, Pete Dyer and Shane Lapham. Here we are then, they're coming into line. Starting team ready. The revs rise, the gate goes up, it looks like a clean start, they head down the hill, it's Mike Beaumont in the middle, but it's Calvin Tatum. Calvin Tatum who heads for the front, and Steve Schofield back in fourth place, working his way through. Will James in second, that could well be Peter Lloyd in third, and Steve Schofield working his way through. Steve Schofield from Will James. Number 32, in fact, it is indeed Peter Lloyd. So then, it's Calvin Tatum, Coventry and England Speedway star, leading Scully, Steve Schofield, who rides his speedrunner. Hanging on the lap lead, and it's Steve Schofield who goes after it. Will James in third, Peter Lloyd in fourth, in fifth place is Mike Beaumont, in sixth place it's Tom Wilson, behind him is Vincent Kinchin and then Grant Faulkner. So then, Calvin Tatum with the advantage, and still Steve Schofield looking behind. And Scully working away at it, trying to close on the leader as they go down the back straight. Second place is Schofield, third place is Will James, in fourth place is Lloyd, in fifth place Mike Beaumont, in sixth place Vincent Kinchin. In seventh place, the second place man in the competition, Paul Fry goes in this one, but he's up against the ranks of Mark Loram, and this will be quite a race. Down the outside they go, and it's Mark Loram making the best of the start. Paul Fry goes up with him on the first bend, and it's Mark Loram from Paul Fry as we look across to the far side. We're looking for Trevor Banks, and it's Banksy who comes through. It's Trevor Banks in third place. We have So Mark Loram hanging on, and Paul Fry going after him. Fourth place as they pass out is Rob Cameron. And Fry closes up, looks to the outside of Mark Loram, comes around the inside now, so it's Paul Fry with Mark Loram half a bike's length. Paul Fry from Mark Loram, from Rob Cameron, from John Boston. From Alan Farmer rather, not John Boston. Similar colours on the bike. So Alan Farmer it is up there. Meanwhile, then on the far side, Paul Fry. Round the waters once again, all the last lap flag. Mark Loram in second place. Trevor Banks in third. Fourth place Rob Cameron behind him. Alan Farmer. And Carl Stone here in behind him. So on the far side then, the man who finished second in the first round of the Masters. Goes to victory. Paul Fry is the win. Mark Loram in second place. And down the bank they come. And that's a pretty even start there. Andy Riley on the outside. In the middle there's Clayton Williams sitting in third place, looking to make his way through. And it's all the grabbing at the moment as they come in and it's Andy Phillips who had a really terrible first round. Andy Phillips really striking form and going for it here with his near neighbour Clayton Williams up into second place. Well, Andy Phillips has been said so many times Andrew Phillips the lead, Clayton Williams in second place. In third place it's Rob Price, and Rob Price going for second, not quite making it, staying though just ahead of Andy Riley in fourth place as we look across to the far side. So then, Andrew Phillips it is, coming around, Clayton Williams blazing up all the time from Andy Phillips, from Clayton Williams, from Rob Price, from Andy Riley. And Rob Price gets through to second place. Price gets through to second. Will he hang on to it? I think he will, but he doesn't. He loses it again to Clayton Williams as they go down the bank. Rob Price goes for victory. Andrew Phillips is the win. Clayton Williams in second. Then Rob Price. Then Andy Riley. Then number 16, Tim Fagg. This is race 4. They're away. They're looking to see where the hammer's going to come from, and it's Wiggy who heads to the front, but Chris Morton is right there with him. It's Simon Wigg from Chris Morton as they go round the bend on the top of the hill for the first time. And we're looking across to pick up Martin Hagen. Simon Wigg, the world long track champion, who leads. Stuck in behind him, number 18 it is, Miles Evans. And John Boston trying to make his way through. And Chris Morton, who was so well up, in trouble on that first lap. Simon Wigg from Martin Hagen, from Miles Evans, from John Boston, and Tony Forward. And Chris Morton obviously in machine problems here. As we go across the finish line, Martin Hagen up in the second, then John Boston in third, in fourth place Miles Evans, and behind him number 9. And we're having trouble with stones again up here. I'm afraid I've just been showered with glass. Chris Morton goes by. Martin Hagen in second place, John Boston in third, then Miles Evans, then Tony Forward. Then number 4, Tim Bradford, just over number 35, Martin Bryant. And Chris Moore with the motor standing a little happier, completing race.
At the top there we've got race 5. We're into the sidecar competition, and already we've got the crews coming out onto the start line. Looking through the list that are coming through the line, the top scorers at the moment, we're perhaps looking for a prize. This is all come into the line. Make the break for Mike Baxter, I can see coming through the middle. The white leathers of Mike Baxter it is to make the break into that first corner. Richard Piggott's right up there as well, going out a little bit wider line as he comes round the outside of the bend. But a lot of riders went wide, and you can see that John Halsey has made the best of it and come through the centre. So John Halsey it is that leads in front of Alan Lewis at the moment. Rustling and confusing myself with Alan Lewis, but of course it is Rustling that's right up there in second place. My apologies of course for Rustling and John Mitten going extremely well in second place. A lot to do to catch John Halsey who leads at the moment. John Halsey and Dave French it is to go into the pit bend for the second time. Rustling and John Mitten still there in second place. Mike Cameron I mentioned was well up on the points. He's back there in the 5th place at the moment, but challenging on Mike Baxter as he goes through going into that top corner. So a lot of fighting going on for that third, fourth and fifth place. The last lap flag goes for Rustling as he's now got through in front of John Horsley. So Rustling going extremely well going into that pit bend. He takes over the lead from John Horsley. Dewison still there in second place. You can see that third place is just about to change again. There's going to be a lot of sidecar passing, I expect, on this circuit. They're very wide bends. The checker flag will go for the first of our sidecar races. Rustling and John Mitten take it. John Horsley and Dave French get second. And that's a good third place. Here we go. Race 6 in your programme. And I'm getting all sorts of comments thrown at me about whether there's some centre riders up there in the front. We see a lot of rustling in this part of the country, so we're going to... That first corner, who's been making tremendous starts all year this year. It's Alan and John Blewett that go into that top bend, holding pole position. Coming through very, very tight on the inside, and you can see here's number 14 in your programme. I knew the stones were going to fly, but I didn't think they would for the first lap. We will try and stay with it. Right around the outside there in second place. As Martin Hill it was that was in second, locking it up sideways as he come out of that pit bend. Ken Lane taking the advantage of getting through into second place and now starting to put pressure on Alan and John Blewett. Alan and John Blewett it is that lead from Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis in second. Martin Hill and Phil Robson in third place at the moment, but being challenged very, very hard. As you see, putting the pressure on at third place. So we've got a fight for first and second. Equally we've got the fight for third and fourth place with Steve Smith trying to make up the ground on Martin Hill. The last lap flag goes for them this time as Ken Lane again tries to go very wide. It's Alan and John Blewett that lead from Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis. The challenge is still there for third place. As you can see that Steve Smith is now trying the outside line of the pit bend. Steve Smith goes right around, one way around that pit bend. There's big corners and Steve Smith has made that top one even bigger. He's got through though in front of Martin Hill and now holds himself in third place. Ken Lane trying for the tight line to try and get inside Alan and John Blewett, but they hold it. Alan and John Blewett it is that win from Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis. Steve Smith going across the line in third place with Keith Wall in the chair, of course, and Martin Ward. Looking down at this, you can see we've got coming to the line non-point scorers from the first round. Rob Wilson sitting there on 20 points at the moment. Be anxious to get a good score in his first ride this afternoon. Kevin Lapham also up there as well, sitting on 18 points. John Hiscock, Mike Cookson, only got 5 outfits going. I'll try and pick that up as they come down the first straight. Dewison has got himself into second place. John Hiscock there in third, but at the moment it's Robbie Wilson that leads into that first bend. He's gone extremely wide, he's let them all come through underneath him. Steve Dewison was the man that came through first. Rob Wilson is at lead. Steve Dewison there in second. As they go into that pit bend, that's how they stay. Steve Dewison leads. Rob Wilson is now trying to second place. Steve Dewison and Dave Ward it is that streak away from the rest of the field down that back straight, but Rob Wilson and Kevin Simmons still there in second. John Hiscock and Mike Cave right up behind them in third place. So the challenge coming from that third place there in the hands of John Hiscock. Roger Meester is back there in fourth place at the moment. Not really another place to spread out a little bit. I thought John Hiscock was going to get closer to Rob Wilson, but you can see Robbie Wilson has now pulled up the power. Anxiously trying to close that gap on Steve Dewison. But Steve Dewison and Dave Ward it is that lead the field in tremendous form once again. Remember, they are not just defending the title from last year, they're defending the title from 3 years in a row. 87 and 88, of course, the titles that went to Steve Dewison and Dave Ward. The checker flag will go for them this time as they come round. The first ride of the afternoon has been successful for Steve Dewison and Dave Ward. Rob Wilson and Kevin Simmons get second. John Hiscock and Mick Cave get third. Roger Meester and Vince Jones coming through for fourth place.
The revs rise, there goes the dust, they're away, they're powering down the hill towards us. Up through the middle is Rob Cameron making a good start. Will James goes with him. And Clayton Williams goes round the outside, but looks like Miles Evans moving up into second place. Now it's Clayton Williams who edges past him, so it's Will James from Clayton Williams to Miles Evans. So it's Will James who won the Western winner 2 weeks back and went into the European final. A man on form, and it's Clayton Williams, the man who's won that European title, keeping the pressure on. Still Miles Evans it is in third place. So Will James prepares to go down the back. Enjoying that. Still Miles Evans in third. In fourth place is John Walmsley. In fifth place, number 28, Adrian Mower. So then a good battle going on up there. Flying on, close up on the again. Will James is still there. Will James hangs on in there. We've got 1 more lap to go in the battle there on here. Will James with a length advantage over Clayton Williams from Miles Evans, from John Walmsley, from Adrian Mower. So then on the far side, can Clayton Williams do anything at all about Will James? It doesn't look like it. Will James has it. Will James into the left, body of Malek, into the front. Will James will be able to get there. Clayton Williams in second place. In third place, Miles Evans. In a fourth place, number 25, John Walmsley. And behind him, Adrian Mower. Go Mark Seabright, Vincent Kinchin, Ian Garr, Alan Farmer, Steve Schofield, Andy Riley, Paul Pratt, and Simon Wigg. We have a false start. Here makes it go quickest. Well, sitting alongside me is Colin Sweeby, and we must say Mark Seabright in the same mould, a very tall grass track rider. Down the hill they come. And it's Simon Wigg making no mistake about his start here this afternoon, and Steve Schofield in second place, closes up a little as we look across to the far side. So it's Simon Wigg from Steve Schofield. And the cones going in all directions, so Simon Wigg hangs on to that lead. Andy Riley it is, up into third place, Alan Palmer in fourth. And certainly the markers flowing on that top end then. I'm not sure who was inside, but and over those markers. Still Andy Riley up in a third, Alan Palmer in fourth. In fifth place, it's number 35, Mark Seabright. And Schofield goes for it. Schofield closes right up on Simon Wigg. And Wiggy urges on the machinery. Let's go to his ball on his heels. It's Wigg who leads. Schofield in second. Schofield comes around the outside looking for it. And he's going to try again. I think Wigg will win. Schofield in second place. In third place is going to be Andy Riley. Fourth place is Alan Palmer. And in fifth place, number 35, Mark Seabright. And something there was Simon Wigg foxing. Did he really have it in hand, or did he really lose that advantage, and did Scoey nearly get him? Well, there's only 2 people who know the answer to that. Certainly a very, very close finish to that ride. Race 10 coming up. Chris Morton goes, I'm sure, desperately anxious to make up for his last place in his earlier outing when he had mechanical problems. Tim Frampton, Peter Reid, Trevor Banks, Fran Faulkner, Tim Fay. Fell away, and Trevor Banks has got his hand up. We have a false start. Well, Peter Reid it was, who we were waiting for from the paddock. The break, this looks like a clean start this time. Down the hill they come. Grant Faulkner in the middle there. Chris Morton goes with him, so it's Chris Morton who leads. And Chris will be very, very keen to score some good points here. So it's Chris Morton then who leads. And Trevor Banks comes through ahead of Grant Faulkner to take second place. first complete lap. So Chris Morton, Matilda Langs from Grant Faulkner. Still behind is Peter Reid, and then in behind him, number 4, it's Tim Frampton. So then, Chris Morton holding off Trevor Banks. So the Bellevue man holding off the man of Rogers Speedway with Milton Keynes with Trevor Banks. Trevor Banks in second place. A few flags go. Still Grant Faulkner in third, then Peter Reid. Then behind him, number 16, Tim Fay, coming up into the contention. And on the far side, it's Trevor Banks who looks over his shoulder, having moved back a length or two from the leader, Chris Morton. Chris Morton leading this one, going into the last lap. All the markers gone on that top there. So Chris Morton from Trevor Banks, from Grant Faulkner. And it's Peter Reid being taken there, I think, by Tim Fay. Tim Fay moving up. But Peter Reid getting it back again, and Banks in trouble on the far side. Trevor Banks in trouble, he pulls over and it's Grant Faulkner now up in the second place. And the leader is Chris Morton in 11th place, going to the victory. Number 22 is Chris Morton who wins. Grant Faulkner in second place, third place Peter Reid, fourth place Tim Fay, fifth place number 4 Tim Frampton, and number 11 then coming up. Got away. Don't appear to be any problems on the start line. Who's going to get the best of the start? It's Kelvin Tatum at the moment. It's Kelvin Tatum and Paul Fry sitting back in the field there in fact, 5th place at the moment. Tatum is passed as we look across to the far side. And it looks like it's Martin Hagan who's showing. Kelvin Tatum rode along the and it's number 3. It's Martin Hagan, the man who's the expert, and it's Hagan who gets past on the top 10, so it's Kelvin Tatum on the inside, and Hagan is back in front. So it's Martin Hagan from Kelvin Tatum as we look across to the far side. Martin Hagan, the second one is Kelvin Tatum. And the third one as they come past, it's Mark Law ahead of John Boston and Paul Fry. And Andrew Phillips not making such a good start that time. So then we look across to the far side, and there's somebody dropped down on the far side there. And up into second place comes Mark Laura, then because it's Kelvin Tatum who's gone. It's Kelvin Tatum who's gone on the far side. And he's got it running again, so he may complete race distance. He'll get some points that way. He's obviously in trouble. Second place is Mark Lawrence, John Boston in third, fourth place Paul Fry, and fifth place number 24 Rob Price.
Well, you're restricted to just the same thing. Start is Richard Piggott, but he's on the outside once again as he goes very, very wide on that first bend. Roger Meeser is the outfit to lead. It's Roger Meeser and Vince Jones this time going wide as they go past us. It's Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico that go through. So that's a tremendous top corner for Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Around the Vince Jones there in second place. Mike Baxter and Danny Tully still there in third, and Rob Wilson back there in fourth place at the moment. And Richard Piggott, after a disappointing first ride this afternoon, has now got the form back again. Richard Piggott leads, going into that pit bend. You remember he looked very poor in the first ride. He's just opening up already. Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico lead as they go down that back straight. The last lap flag will be ready for them this time as they come round. Roger Meeser doesn't have an answer to him. He doesn't seem to get any closer at all as the race develops. He still holds second. Mike Baxter and Danny Tully hold third. Rob Wilson and Kevin very quick, and it's very hard to make up on the riders in front of you when they're going as fast as Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. That's a great win for the crew. Roger Meeser and Vince Jones pick up second. Mike Baxter and Danny Tully come through for third, and Rob Wilson comes through for fourth place. 5. So the gap at the moment, unofficially I would say, looks to be like being 8 points for Steve Dewison today. Still 9 to go. Looks like we're going to be underway in a very few moments. Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis dive into that first corner, going very, very quickly. Steve Dewison rolled it off a bit sooner. I think it looks as if Ken Lane was going to go wide. Indeed, he's done just that. Steve Dewison coming through on the inside. But Ken Lane holds it at the moment. It's Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis that lead going into the pit bend. Steve Dewison again goes wide on that pit bend. Right around the outside goes Steve Dewison, but he's had to cut back in again, cutting back across the line of Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis. Ken Lane leads. Steve Dewison is there in second. And Mike Cameron holds third at the moment. And he's following the line of Steve Dewison as they both go tight on that top corner. Rustling holds fourth and Steve Smith is there in fifth place. But the lead Steve Dewison and Dave Ward this time look a little bit closer going in that top bend. They're trying for the outside line this time, cutting back across the apex of the bend. They're going to be very quick coming out of that top bend this time. Mike Cameron and Paul Randall still there in third, not being able to close up on those front two runners, watching to see the battle going on in front of them. Steve Dewison almost making a mistake on that back straight. Desperately trying to get round Ken Lane, but Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis riding a tremendous ride in their second outing. They come round off that top bend. That's a great win for Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis. Steve Dewison and Dave Ward get second. Mike Cameron and Paul Randall get third. Rustling is not out of contention because he's right out into points up on the start of race 14, and it's John Hiscock that again has made a fabulous start. John Hiscock making a tremendous start this afternoon, heads into that first bend. John Hiscock and Mike Cave it is that lead. Alan and John Blewett right on the inside of them, just in second place at the moment. John Halsey goes through for third. Martin Baker's up there in fourth place. But John Hiscock it is the lead as they go into that pit bend. Close the gap on them and they get very close going down that back straight. I think we're going to see a challenge going in that top bend, and indeed we do. Alan Blewett goes very, very wide, going for the much wider, faster line, but John Hiscock has seen him and he's pulled back underneath him. And indeed, as Alan Blewett goes very wide, you can see that John Halsey's looking for the gaps to come through on the inside. The red level of John Halsey goes straight down. Watching to see if he makes a mistake when he's trying to challenge on John Hiscock. Again, those three outfits get very, very close going in that top bend. John Hiscock it is that still holds a good line coming around that top bend. Alan Blewett trying the wide line, and John Halsey sneaks through on the inside of Alan Blewett. The last that flag goes for those three outfits, as you can see now that John Halsey has taken up the challenge with John Hiscock going into the pit bend. So an error from Alan Blewett and John Halsey to come through, but John Halsey challenges John Hiscock going down that back straight. Shortly on the last corner for John Hiscock, he holds a good line going in. Mike Cave working extremely hard on the outfit of John Hiscock. We can see that John Halsey is pulled very, very tight. It's going to be close on the line. John Hiscock just from John Halsey and Dave French. Alan Blewett coming through.
We're away then, race 15 gets underway, down to the middle, it's Steve Schofield with Martin Hagan on his heels and Mark Lauren in third place, and up the inside comes Clayton Williams, and down goes on the far side, but a faller on that top end. He's up, he's perfectly okay, it's Martin Hagan recovering from injury. Far side as well. Meanwhile, it's Steve Schofield leads from Mark Lauren, from Clayton Williams. And number 34, Carl Stone here coming up into contention there, and it's Martin Hagan who's back in action, powering around the bend by the paddock, coming down the hill. It's Steve Schofield leads from Mark Lauren, from Clayton Williams in third place, and pulling out into the middle, it looks like Carl Stone here. So Chris Horton is now in the fourth place with once again an unhappy sounding motor. Points here because several riders have dropped down. Meanwhile, Schofield starts his last lap. Mark Law in second place. Wayne Williams in third. And Morton in fourth. In the fifth place as they head towards me is Tom Wilson, and then I think we get to Martin Hagan. So Schofield then heading for another victory here. Go for it is who wins. Mark Loram in second place. Wayne Williams gets third. Quite a long gap there. We look back quite a long way. The Chris Morton coming in fourth place. In fifth place, Tom Wilson. And in sixth place, the man who picked himself up off the ground and is paid off because Martin Hagan gets 3 points. Here we go then, race 16, they carry down there towards us. On the outside, Tony Forward looking though he's making a good start. And then we look across to the far side, and in fact it's Rob Price who seems to have the advantage. It's Rob Price who leads with Kelvin Tatum hard on his heels. And Kelvin Tatum coming second place, Grant Faulkner in third, Alan Farmer in fourth, in fifth place Peter Reid. So then, Kelvin Tatum looking to score a maximum again. He's had one win here this afternoon. Kelvin Tatum will lead. After 24, Rob Price is still after him, still Grant Faulkner, then Alan Farmer, then Peter Reid. And that looks like Tony Forward. So then across on the far side, Rob Price from Rounds in Northamptonshire. In third place is Grant Faulkner, and Peter Reid coming up looking to improve on his fifth place. On the far side then, it's Kelvin Tatum. Rob Price in second place, Grant Faulkner in third, in fourth place is Peter Reid, in fifth place number 14 Alan Farmer, and then here we go then, race 17 getting on the way down the banks they come. And John Frost here making the best of the start. Will James goes with him. Trevor Banks is right on the outside. Andy Riley comes up the inside and is Banks in third. Riley in fourth. Paul Fry in fifth. But Will James is receiving the attentions of Trevor Banks, and Trevor Banks moves into second place. Will James goes through. John Frost in after Bill Davis, left race. From Trevor Banks in second place, then Will James, then Paul Fry, then Andy Riley, then Vincent Kinchin. So John Boston, the man who finished in third place in the European Grasstrack Championship, leading this one, and Trevor Banks, the man who... John Boston is holding off, still Will James third, still Paul Fry fifth, Andy Riley in sixth, and then Vincent Kinchin. So on the far side, it's still John Boston with the advantage over Trevor Banks, and then Will James, and then Paul Fry. Trevor Banks, then Will James, then Paul Fry, then Andy Riley, and behind him Vincent Kinchin. And then coming through, number 4, Tim Frampton. So on the far side, it's John Boston, who's now established quite a lead over second place man. John Boston it is to win. Trevor Banks in second place. Will James in third. Paul Fry in fourth. And fifth place Andy Riley. And in sixth place Vincent Kinchin. And then a battle between... And Simon Wigg is back again. Rob Cameron, Mike Beaumont, Andrew Phillips, Simon Wigg, Peter Lloyd, Miles Evans, Ian Garner, and Tim Fay. We're away. And number 31 it was, Rob Cameron making a superstar, but as they get to the first bend, it's Simon Wigg who's ahead again. Simon Wigg then. from Rob Cameron as we look across to the far side, and a gaggle of riders. Looks like Mike Beaumont's in there fighting away for third place. Rob Cameron in second place, Mike Beaumont in third, Miles Evans in fourth, in fifth place Peter Lloyd, and that looked like Tim Fay tucked in behind him. So on the far side then, it's already almost a demonstration ride by Simon Wigg, a beautiful wheelie along the backside there. Miles Evans now up into second place, and Peter Lloyd working his way through into third place. Mike Beaumont now in fourth, Tim Fay in fifth. Another little wheelie, but this time Simon looks over his shoulder just to make sure they haven't crept up on him. Andy Riley Simon Wigg on his own. Peter Lloyd comes through to second place, Miles Evans in third. And Simon Wigg then with it very much under control as the flags are out on the far side. And the yellow flags on the far side, the riders slow down, they shouldn't change positions. And the yellow flags are passed, and it's Simon Wigg who comes in to win. Hello Dave Manning, of course, that's a non-starter. You can tell I haven't adjusted my programme to do the sidecar commentary, can't you? Mike Cameron, Roger Measer, Steve Dewison, and Rob Wilson. Well, Jim's back, and while he gets his breath, we'll look across to the far side to pick them up as they come round towards us, and we'll hand back to Jim as soon as we possibly can. But meanwhile, they come towards us, and it looks like Mike Cameron having made a very good start. But as Dewison gets in front, it's Dewison then from Roger Measer, from Dave Heath as they went past us. And Measer in trouble on the top end, went sideways. Dave had to stop a little bit. But Steve Dewison and Dave Ward are really powering away there. So it's Dewison and Ward, the old familiar successful duo, back at the front of the race, powering down the hill. Going ahead of Roger Measer and Vince Jones. And when they passed us, the challenge was coming from Mike Cameron and Paul Randall up into third place, and they are challenging Roger Measer. Mike Cameron goes right up on Roger Measer's tail. So that far side becoming tricky for the chairs as we look across. Measer is definitely being pushed very hard by Mike Cameron here, but meanwhile, up ahead of things, it's Steve Dewison and Dave Ward who head the field into the last lap. Still in second place, and for number 18, so it's Roger Measer still in there. Mike Cameron in third, and Mike Cameron makes his side from there with 14 laps. Closes up on the exit from that end. Meanwhile, Steve Dewison and Dave Ward, seemingly unconcerned of a battle immediately behind them, are out on their own and heading around the top bend. So it's Dewison and Ward going for victory here. Dewison and Ward, it is a win. And coming through in second place, Roger Measer, and Mike Cameron in trouble, nearly lost it on the top bend, makes third place. And in fourth place, Rob Wilson and Kevin Simmons.
21 and 17, that winning time again, 134.636. To see the crew of Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico. They go into the lead, going into that first bend with a tremendous starting straight. Steve Smith has got himself up into second place, but that is just changing as they come out of that bend. You can see who we've got coming right through the middle of them. Gary Jackson and Ian Harris. Problems for them earlier on this afternoon, but it tells me that they've got machinery flying at the moment. Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico at instant lead, but there's a good scrap going on there for second and third place. Gary Jackson appears to have the best of it at the moment, but Steve Smith right on his back wheel. Fourth place rider there, Mike Baxter, number 16. Mike and Danny Sully. Second place. Steve Smith and Keith Ward is to move into second place just in front of Gary Jackson, and now Gary Jackson comes under pressure from Mike Baxter there in fourth place. So off that flag goes in race 20, and it's a race that is firmly being controlled by Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico. top corner for Mike Baxter, getting him up into third place. But it's a good win once again for Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Steve Smith and Keith Wall get second. Mike Baxter and Danny Tully come through for third. Gary Jackson and Ian Harris get fourth, and Martin Hill comes through. Fitted together on 28. I know that has just changed because Richard Piggott has had a win, so it should be interesting to add the points up after the third leg. But Wilson, Cameron and Piggott are all sitting on 28 together. Race 21 in the programme, looking at Rustling has come up on the inside of him. John Hiscock on the inside of those two. Ken Lane right on the outside, going a long, long way round. But it's Alan and John Blue at the lead coming out of that top bend. They lead to go fastest. Rustling and John Mitten go into second as they go into that pit bend. Ken Lane now puts him under pressure and comes through on the inside. So Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis now moving through into third place. The lead still with Alan and John Blewett. Rustling and John Mitten still there in second, but challenging every inch of the way. Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis go again very wide coming out of that top bend. And John Halsey trying to look for that gap on the inside of it. Now Rustling is starting to put pressure on Alan Blewett. The fight is right at the very front. Again, you can see that Ing gets very close on that top corner. Coming off the top bend, it's different lines for those two outfits, but Alan and John Blewett fighting every inch of the way. Ken Lane again going very wide coming down this finishing straight. I wonder if going into the top corner, this is where they choose the different lines. Rustling has gone wide this time, hoping to cross back across the top of the apex. Pull it very tight as Alan Blewett goes wide, but Alan Blewett's going fast enough. He gets the checkered flag. Rustling comes through for second, Ken Lane gets third. John Halsey coming through for fourth. That's coming through fine.
So the solos up on the start line to our left. Starting team not happy at the moment and making sure they all come into line together. The smoke as the reds rise their way. Looks like a clean start. It's Wiggy on the inside. And Paul Fry trying to go inside him, but I don't think he's going to make it. It's Wiggy. And as they go around the bend, it's quite a challenge going on there. It's Paul Fry back to third place. It looks like Hagen up into contention. What a first bend that was. Simon Wigg from Martin Hagen from Paul Fry. Still Hagen keeping the pressure on, and Paul Fry third in fourth place. Number 32 on our program is Peter Lloyd, and Peter Reid tucked in behind him. So then, looking across to the far side, Simon Wigg is not getting away from Martin Hagen, and this turn the first four places. Again, the dust is up in fifth place is John Walmsley coming by, one of the few other users have laid down motors, and trouble here for number 14 Alan Barlow, who's going well already off this afternoon. Meanwhile, to our left. Wide action to go into the last passage. Joe Martin Hagen in second. Paul Fry in third. And here's John Walmsley. Behind is Peter Lloyd and then John Walmsley, of course. Peter Lloyd it is in fourth place. And looking strong. Left from the first band. Simon Wigg third, yet another victory in his Masters. Simon Wigg a win. Martin Hagen in second. Paul Fry in third. In fourth is Peter Lloyd. In fifth place is John Walmsley. And in sixth place, Tom Wilson with Alan. So the solos race 23 on the line, they're away. Down the hill they come. Who's going to get the best of the start? It's Steve Schofield who goes. Adrian Mower on his heels, but up the inside goes Trevor Banks, looking for the second place from Adrian Mower, and he gets there. But the leader is Steve Schofield, so it's Hackney Speedway star Steve Schofield leading The Milton team back, Riverbank. Already over his shoulder for the opposition. It's headed by Trevor Banks. In third place as they pass us, number 24. And good it is to see Rob Price up in action. Adrian Mower tucked away there in fourth place. Andy Riley in fifth, but coming round the outside, there was Mr. Welby in fourth. Leading from Trevor Banks. From the number 24, Rob Price, and then Adrian Mower and Andy Riley, and that's still Rob Price in third, then Andy Riley, then Adrian Mower, then Mike Beaumont, and then number 18, Miles Evans. And we don't seem to have a Chris Morton this time out. Second place, Rob Price in third, Andy Riley in fourth, in fifth place, Steve Bryson in Ghana, complete the field. This is race 24. They're away. Will James making a good start. Clayton Williams goes with him, but up the inside is John Boston, who's going to have the advantage as the Pumas come back in the distance. It's Will James who leads, Clayton Williams in second place, John Boston in third, and we've got a race on our hands here. Grant Faulkner up in the challenging Will James. Third place is John Boston, in fourth place is Mark Loram and Grant Faulkner side by side. But it's still Will James with the advantage, and it's still Clayton Williams looking to go by him, and Clayton Williams just gets by. Can he take that inside line? It's Clayton Williams and Will James. Clayton Williams got the advantage at the moment. Will James right on his heels, and side by side they go. John Boston in third, Grant Faulkner in fourth. In fifth place as they pass me with Tim Fay. And Will James goes back in front. It's Will James who leads from Clayton Williams, and Clayton Williams comes back inside him again. What a race these two are having. Clayton Williams on the inside, Will James on the outside. It's all happening around that top then. And Clayton Williams loses across the Will James is right on his heels, and John Boston in third place. And it's Clayton Williams from Will James, from John Boston, from Grant Faulkner, from Tim Fay. So looking across to the far side, it's still Will James in second place. But Will James looks to the inside, he's not going to get it. It's Clayton Williams to win. Will James in second, then John Boston, then Grant Faulkner, then Tim Fay, then Mark Loram, and then behind him, number 35, Mark Seabright. They're away. So they go to the front, and it's number 33 who gets there first, and Kelvin Tatum is back in front, looking for another victory here, looking for points here this afternoon. So it's Kelvin Tatum then, pulling right away from the opposition line. First lap. So Kelvin Tatum then leads. In second place, number 31, Rob Cameron, then Vince Kinchin. And Andrew Phillips in trouble again by the looks of things. So then on the far side. Rob Cameron in second place, Vincent Kitchen in third. Tony Forward in fourth. In fifth place as they pass me, number 34. So then there is Rob Cameron in second place, Vincent Kitchen, Tony Forward, Charles Stones here. And back a little way, number 30, Andrew Phillips, and the motor sounds a bit more on song now. Second flag goes out quickly for number 33, Kelvin 5th place, Colton.
So it's really going fine to be a good straight line up for so has Ken Lane. Steve Dewison missed the start completely, has now got himself back into 3rd place. But it's Ken Lane that leads coming round that first bend. Richard Piggott there in 2nd place. Steve Dewison right up behind him in 3rd. Steve Dewison now looking for the inside line on Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. But Ken Lane has got the advantage at the moment with Richard Piggott holding up Steve Dewison. Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis leading from Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Steve Dewison again closes up on the back wheel of Richard Piggott. Holding an excellent tight line, Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico this time on that top corner. They get that much closer going into the pit bend and dive for the gap on the inside. They get past Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis going into the pit bend. Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico at instant lead from Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis there in 2nd place. Steve Dewison, the man who's leading the competition at the moment. Last year's British Masters winner there in 3rd place at the moment. The last lap flag goes for them, as they say in that order. It's John Halsey that picked up 4th place at the moment, and Dave Heath back there in 5th place. Before we go for the last time in race 26, down the back straight we go with Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Ken Lane is now here in 2nd place, and certainly been riding well this afternoon. The checker flag goes for a 3rd win of the afternoon for Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis get a good 2nd. Steve Dewison and Dave Ward come through for 3rd. He's already had 2 wins this afternoon and a 3rd place. So looking to get in the points, Steve sits equally on 33 points. Ken Lane on 3 points. A tremendous lead they've got going into that first bend. That really was an absolutely tremendous start from Alan Blewett. He must have been 5 or 6 bike lengths clear halfway down that first straight. He maintains his lead as he goes fastest. Steve Smith has started there into 2nd place, so Steve Smith and Keith Wall anxious to score some more good points. Alan and John Blewett in lead at the moment. They charge down that back straight. And indeed, as I say that, you can see that Steve Smith has closed the gap incredibly going into that top bend. Right on the back wheel now of Alan and John Blewett is Steve Smith and Keith Wall, looking for the outside line this time. Rosamisa and Vince Jones up there in 3rd place, riding number 18 this afternoon. But the fight looks to be up to the front one. Pressure going around that top bend. Alan Blewett and John Blewett opening up going into the bend, as you can see, but Steve Smith looks very quick coming off this top bend. Pulls an excellent tight line as he comes off that bend, but still Alan and John Blewett streak away. As I say that, you can see that Alan Blewett has made a mistake on that top corner and gone incredibly wide. He doesn't see the gap and come through. So Steve Smith and Keith Wall it is, the lead going into the final bend of race 27. Alan and John Blewett still there in 2nd place. Roger Meese is still there in 3rd, and as I say that, you can see that Alan Blewett has come right across the line of Steve Smith. And indeed, if we get shattered by stones, once again, well, indeed, and of 3 wins he's had this afternoon, Alan Blewett, certainly putting him right up to point still. Well, looking at race 28. As I say that, you can see it's him that leads going into that first bend. 3 outfits locked together, rustling is the blue and white leathers in 3rd place now, but you can see Mike Baxter right on the outside. John Hiscock and Mike David is at lead as they go past us for the first time. Into that pit bend as the dust gets thrown, you can see that we've got rustling and John Hiscock in 2nd place, Mike Baxter and Danny Tully are up in 3rd. And Mike Cameron and Paul Randall back in 4th place at the moment, but I'm sure things are going to change before the end of this race because all 4 of these outfits are determined to get good points in their last ride. John Hiscock it is that leads from Rustling and John Mitten in 2nd. Danny Tully and Mike Baxter. Mike Cameron constantly racing up at the front. You can see now Rustling is closed right up on John Hiscock. John Hiscock and Mike Cave holding a tremendously tight line, and as you can see, Rustling has now cut back across him with Rustling just seeing the gap. The last lap flag has gone and a tremendous top corner for Rustling. He now has got himself in first place, and you can see there's all sorts of problems with John Hiscock on that top corner. Mike Baxter now comes through the second. Mike Cameron has come through the third. Well, it's a great shame for John Hiscock and Mike Cave, riding tremendously well this afternoon. They've obviously got some sort of problem with the machinery, but the checkered flag goes for Rustling and John Mitten. Second place goes to Mike Baxter and Danny Tully, and third place going to Mike Cameron and Paul Randall. John Hiscock got the inside gate, so he's now coming into position right on the very inside. All six outfits coming line together, which should be underway in a very few moments for the first of the semi-final. Turn the power on right when it's important. Into that first straight he goes, and into the first corner with Alan and John Blewett in hot pursuit, going very wide round the outside of them. John Halsey finding his way through the middle of the field there, has now got himself into third place, but it's Steve Dewison and Dave Ward that lead from Alan and John Blewett. John Halsey and Dave French up there in third place at the moment, so the man who's leading the competition leads the first semi-final. Dewison and Dave Ward that lead. Alan and John Blewett there in second place at the moment. Steve Smith and Keith Wall up there in third place, and John Halsey now in fourth place. John Hiscock back in fifth with Rustling picking up the tail end. Into the pit bend for the third time, and the action seems to be a little bit further down the field. Rustling now putting pressure on John Hiscock. Nothing taking away from the 1988 British Master, that is Steve Dewison and Dave Ward. They lead the first semi-final from, in second place, Alan and John Blewett. Third place, and now beginning to get closer, is Steve Smith and Keith Wall. John Halsey and Dave French really not being able to close that gap on Steve Smith, but the gap has certainly closed to second and third. You can see that Steve Smith is now the flag being made ready for the first of the first semi-finals. And it is going to be Steve Dewison that comes round off that top corner, picking up the checker flag again this afternoon. He wins the first semi. Alan John Blewett gets second. Steve Smith gets third. John Halsey comes through for fourth, and Rustling coming through for fifth place. First semi. Fantastic looking to see Ken Lane sitting on 38 at the moment, score as many points as he possibly can. Mike Cameron sitting on 36. And of course, Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico is breaking into that first corner, with Ken Lane taking a much tighter line, getting right in the back wheel of Richard Piggott. Roger Meester and Vince Jones have come through for third place, and Mike Cameron back there in fourth place at the moment. And as you can see going that top end, we've still got a good challenge going on that second place. And now coming through on the inside, it's very close coming out of that pit end. But Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico have been allowed to get away from them. So the scrap back there in second and third place, with Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico leading the field in front of Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis in second. Roger Meester and Vince Jones still there in third. Mike Cameron not out of contention in fourth place at the moment, with Paul Randall in Let's not take it away from Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. They lead in tremendous form coming around that top corner. Quite a gap now developing between them and Ken Lane in second place. The last lap flag goes to them. Tony Angelico looks back behind him to see where the field are. I'm sure they will have a way of signaling each other to let him know there's no pressure. Just take it steady, ride the line down that bank straight they go. Into the top corner for the last time in the semi-final. Then Lane to come on that second place. Roger Meester's not been able to close up on him. He holds third at the moment, and Mike Cameron back there in fourth. So the second semi-final is a win for Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. In second place, Ken Lane. Third place, Roger Meester. And fourth place, Mike Cameron.
On the footrest at the moment. Well, they're being held, so maybe they're being called in. They're away. Wiggy in the middle. They look across to the inside, and it's number 10 down the outside is John Boston making the best of the start. But past him goes Julian Wigg like he's going backwards. It's Clayton Williams in third, Grant Faulkner in fourth, and already this leading group of four have pulled away a little bit from the struggle behind them. So early on, the over his shoulder for John Boston, and Clayton Williams is on his shoulder, then Grant Faulkner, then Paul Fry. So it's all, and Wigg's in trouble. Wigg's in trouble on the top end. Wigg has pulled off to the one side. He is in trouble. Well, we couldn't see what happened. Going on and runs now, and it opens up the competition. It's John Boston looking for Clayton Williams, and Clayton Williams on the outside, and Paul Fry in third. But of course, remember that Simon Wigg has an awful lot of points. He could still go through to the final, and it's John Boston from Clayton Williams. From Paul Fry as they go down the back straight to Clayton Williams on the outside, and Williams comes through. Clayton Williams from John Boston, from Paul Fry, and Grant Faulkner from Andy Riley. And Clayton Williams hanging on grimly in there. John Boston goes after him. Down the back straight they go. Paul Fry holding a left in third place. Grant Faulkner in fourth, and Andy Riley through the second on that fourth place. Meanwhile, Clayton Williams ahead to the second line. Victory for Clayton Williams. John Boston in second. Paul Fry in third. Grant Faulkner in fifth. Then Andy Riley. Then number 9, Tony Forward. And then number 14, Alan Farmer. Trevor Banks, Tim Fay, Rob Price, and Miles Evans. They're away, they break and come down the hill towards us, and it's Trevor Banks in the middle. You can see him searching for grip. It's Will James on the inside, Trevor Banks on the outside, and it's already Trevor Banks up at the head of things. It looks like Mark Loram coming past Will James into second place. Will James then sitting in third place at the moment, but we're looking for already go through the gate, so it's Trevor Banks on his own from Mark Loram, from Will James, from in behind him Martin Hagan, and Martin Hagan has some ground to make up because it's pretty close at the top on points here. So we're looking across to the far side. Look at that battle. Trevor Banks is away, but Mark Loram is going to try coming along Hagan looking for second place. It's Trevor Banks, from Martin Hagan, from Will James, from Mark Loram. Well, what race we've got on here. And Hagan is still grimly hanging on to second place from Will James, from Mark Loram, and Loram challenges for third place. Trevor Banks to lead. So the most of the championship here. So he is out of the head of this one from Martin Hagan, from Mark Loram, from Will James, and then coming through Rob Price. So then, Trevor Banks looking to stake his claim to a place in the final of the Masters in 1989. From Hagan, from Mark Loram, from Will James. Then number 24, Rob Price. Then number 18, Miles Evans. Then number... That's last election man who was fourth in the European Championship last year. Riding to go off that top end. Powering away, beautiful sliding action there from the Czechoslovakian. Only, but fortunately through international events like the Ace of Aces and some of the others, we are starting to see them appear in Britain more often, and that's got to be good for the sport. And there is one of them, Václav Milik.
Sidecar event. Here's the line-up once again. Change of ride at number 16 coming in is by Baxter and Dan Shelley. And your 6,000 up to the line. Rob Wilson has made the best of it from the start. start. Roger Meester slots into second place. John Hiscock going through for third, and John Halsey coming up there for third as well. But as we come off that top bend, the first bend of the B final, we've got Robbie Wilson leading from Roger Meester in second. Mike Baxter has come through for third place. John Halsey back there in fourth. The other three riders locked together as against them fourth. Rob Wilson, I'm sure had a lot of supporters here this afternoon. Had a few bad rides, shall we say, this afternoon, and it's cost him the points and hasn't allowed him to get through into the A final. But he's going superbly well at the moment. Under pursuit from Roger Meester and Vince Jones. Mike Baxter and Danny Tully also just missing out in the competition this year. They're going to have to go through the qualifying round again next year to get through. But of course we're still not going through 1989 yet. And we're with the B final, and Rob Wilson and Kevin Simmons going extremely well. Off that top corner they come to take the last lap flag, and Roger Meester doesn't really seem to be able to do anything about it. Roger Meester and Vince Jones go through in second place, with Mike Baxter and Danny Tully closing all the time, as you can see on that top end of it, very, very close indeed. Down the next place to go, with Rob Wilson now getting away from those two, with the fight going on for the second and third place. Mike Baxter going for the outside line, Roger Meester holding a tight inside line. Now Baxter cuts across and hopes to get through on the inside. Rob Wilson wins it. It's going to be close to second, but I think Roger Meester just hung on to it. Well, that was only the B final. We've got the British Masters concluding final to come. Where all the
Here we go then. They're away. They head down the hill towards us. It's Grant Faulkner on the outside, heading the charge up the inside. Number 18, it was Miles Evans. Grant Faulkner and Trevor Banks eases his way past a lot of them. And it's Trevor Banks from Grant Faulkner, from Miles Evans, from Andy Riley sitting just a place back there in fifth place. Meanwhile, Riley Trevor Banks has the advantage. Banks to lead. Grant Faulkner in second place. Miles Evans in third. And the dust is rising and making it difficult for our lap scorers. So Trevor Banks then stamping his authority on this race already. Grant Faulkner, the young Johnson, working away. Really that wasn't very nice. He didn't enjoy that. Trevor Banks then, go from Grant Faulkner, from Andy Riley comes through. Behind him it's coming forward. And Andy Riley looking for second place. Riley goes for second place from Grant Faulkner. Doesn't get it this time, so it's still Faulkner in second place. Andy Riley in third. Going forward is fourth. Look at the leader. Up and over to the bank to the lead. Riley is speed by windmill speed. Really flying around here. And Riley goes again for second place, still doesn't quite make it, one more bend to go, or does he? And Grant Faulkner just ahead of Andy Riley, tremendous tackle there for second place. All the way from that spot now, Trevor Banks with the advantage, who's going to get that second spot? Who's going to get it? Trevor Banks it is who wins, Grant Faulkner in second, Andy Riley in third, in fourth place number 9, Penny Forward, then number 14, Alan Farmer, then number 6.
Won the semi-final. He's been riding superbly well this afternoon. Only one ride you could say was fourth, that was where he finished third. And indeed, he's built up a massive amount of points. But it looks as if we're ready to go for the final of the competition. Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico, joined with Steve Jewison and Dave Ward, go into that first corner first. It is Steve Jewison that leads, coming off that first bend. Steve Smith has come through for second place. It's a great first corner from him. Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico go through in third place at the moment, but it's by no means over, as you can see. They're all very, very close in that first corner. Down the back straight, Richard Biggett looks to be coming underneath him. Very, very close going into that second corner. As you can see, Richard Biggett has now got very, very close to the leader. Steve Jewison and Dave Ward it is that lead. Richard Biggett and Tony Angelico. Steve Smith there in third place at the moment. Ken Lane back in fourth. Alan and John Blewett back in fifth place at the moment. Indeed, all the gaps closing up. You can see how close it is on just from Richard Biggett. Steve Smith back there in third place, and that gap opening up a little bit, and it's getting very, very close at the front. Richard Piggott again tries to pull it tight, and Steve Smith going very, very tight indeed on that top corner. Right on the back wheel of Steve Jewett, this is Richard Piggott. The pit bend this time, he's looking for the outside line. Richard Piggott now has come very quickly underneath him, going into that top corner. I wonder how close he's going to get. The checker flag will be ready for him this time as they come round. Is it going to be another win for Steve Dewison? He comes down past us. Steve Dewison and Andover takes the final. Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico get second. Steve Smith gets third. Ken Lane coming through for fourth, and John Blewett in fifth place. So a very quick time, and I'll give you the official result first. It's a win, of course, for Steve Dewison and Dave Ward. Number one going into first place, picking up the final 7 points. In second place, number 4, Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. 5 points go to that crew. In third place, number 5, Steve Smith and Keith Wall. That's third place, and of course earning 4 points. In fourth place, number 7, Ken Lane and Eddie Elvis. 3 points going to Ken Lane. In fifth place, number 8, Alan and John Blewett, and 2 points go.
So we've got Paul Fry to Simon Wigg's right, Clayton Williams on his left, anxiously looking down at Clayton Williams' bike. Clayton, who had a cross frame, an RTS and a Dueler frame. 3 different frames to use today. Well, this is it. This is the Polo Masters final of 1989, and away they go. And it's John Foster making a tremendous start, but it's Simon Wigg. It's Wigg in front now. Who's going to get that second place? The battle's on. It's Schofield through to second place, and Schofield going after Simon Wigg. It's Simon Wigg from Steve Schofield from John Foster. And Schofield comes through. And Schofield comes through. They're side by side. And Wigg is back in front. Boston still third. Clayton Williams up to fourth. And look at the battle on the far side there, because it's Steve Schofield going after the man who's leading the Masters Championship. The man who's like to take the title in 1989. Steve Schofield in second place. Going through the third place, John Boston in fourth place. Clayton Williams in fifth place, Paul Fry. So on the far side, it's all about Simon Wigg hanging on to a few lengths advantage. He's seized already, and whether all the markers are gone, they're getting all sorts of funny lines on that top end. Afterwards, through covered in glass again, so it's going in second place. Simon Wigg in lead, John Boston still in third, Clayton Williams in fourth, and Paul Fry looking to join in the action. So Paul Fry looking for that fourth place, going through the fourth place, but Simon Wigg going for the second flag, here it is. In second place it's going, in third place, Fry and Boston side by side. Then Clayton Williams, a steel shoe, flies across the track. Then Will James, and then number 3.
5, 4, something a little bit different. Adapted for cash as it's described. £200 for the first man over the line. He really did fly off that gate, but you can see it. Steve Dewison has got into that first corner. Remember, this is counted as a lap as they come past us. Only one more lap to go. Steve Dewison and Dave Ward is the lead from Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. I mentioned earlier on that it was one place to be, and that's right out the front. Just first over the line that gets it, and it's going to be a checkered flag this time as they come round. It's a real quick sprint event, and you can see that Steve Dewison and Dave Ward certainly have it under control, but Richard Piggott coming up behind them. But it's Steve Dewison and Dave Ward that take it. The fists of both driver and passenger go in the air as they cross the line. Very determined
On the line then for this unique solo dash for cash. Managed to get it right that time, didn't I? It didn't sound as though I was drunk, which makes a change. Here we go, they're coming into line. The amazing what 200 pounds will do. There they go, they're away. Who's going to get the best of the start? They're dashing down the hill towards us. Well, it's that man Wigg. There's a surprise. And Trevor Banks on the inside. Simon Wigg from Trevor Banks and Clayton Williams, and coming round the outside, Steve Schofield. So it's Simon Wigg from Steve Schofield, from Trevor Banks, from Clayton Williams. Middle across to the far side. Steve Schofield who leads. Simon Wigg in second place, and the pegs go flying again. So it's Steve Schofield from Simon Wigg, and into the middle there goes Martin Hagen. So down the back straight they go, and Wigg is after him again, but it's still Steve Schofield, Simon Wigg. And Trevor Banks is not after Simon Wigg this time, and Williams. Wow, first defeat of the afternoon for Simon Wigg, and Steve Schofield has stolen 200 pounds from Simon Wigg. What a splendid piece of riding there. Tremendous ride from Steve. Let's run through the results then for race 38. They are as follows. In first place, number 7, Steve Schofield. In second place, number 1, Simon Wigg. In third place, number 12,
Alan and John Lewis. They claim that the spooning's digging the south. I don't believe it. We have the third place finishers. We move on to the second place finishers. And perhaps interesting to go back through a little bit of history over the last 3 years. In 1987 they finished equal second. In 1988 they finished second. In 1989, they've also finished second. It is, of course, Richard Piggott and Tony Angelico. Well, as Richard and Tony receive all the congratulations from Kathy, the trophies, and of course the champagne, it means that we move on to that very important edition of 1989 British Masters champions. They were in 87, they were in 88, again in 89, picking up the triple, Dick Dewison and Dave Ward. Well, all the photographs I think are taken. Yes, round of congratulations to all of them while they're up on the rostrum. Thank you, Alan. I was going to try and get up there because what we do want to do is have a quick word with our 1989 winners. If I can fight my way up, or I'm sure somebody's going to knock me off fairly shortly. Let's start with you, Dave. I've got to you first. Were you confident this morning? A man of many words, you know this. It's always very difficult interviewing motorcycle riders. But Dave, surely, you were keen? You knew you were going to do something?
Yeah, but one stage there were about 12 points in front. Not really.
They're never happy, are they? Steve, you must have been a bit more confident than that. You had the machinery set up. I know you had problems this morning, but it all went right in the end.
Well, that's right. We were a little bit worried at first if we got a breakdown problem. Going into semi, I believe we were 7 points ahead. And you only need one breakdown and you're back on 7 points again. So you can never ever rest assured that you're going to win. All you have to do is try and go out and be reliable.
Absolutely right, Steve. I think you'll agree, there's been fabulous racing, well-deserved title winners. I'm going to move out of the way again because while we've got them all on the rostrum, these are the 1989 British Masters champions. Give them your applause.
But behind him there's a tremendous battle going on for the second, third, fourth and fifth places. And so close indeed was the battle for second and third that two competitors ended up on the same number of points. And they were Paul Fry and Clayton Williams. And as Jim said, I'm absolutely delighted they come from the western centre, my part of the world. One of them has to be third, one of them has to be second. Third place, decided on the number of wins, goes to Paul Fry. Well, that's good. Very good. Where is he? Here he comes. Well done, Paul. Well done, man. Congratulations. There we go. Third place, the Paul Fry. Second place then, as you already realised, to Clayton Williams. There we go. Well done, Clayton. Well done, man. What a production, eh? Well done, Clayton. This is the bit he enjoyed. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned that this event this year has been dominated by one rider. And what a season he's had. He's been into Europe in the World Long Track. He's been in the World Speedway competition. He's won two of those. He won the Masters today. He won the Long Track, second in the World Speedway. What can we say to congratulate this man? Simon Wigg, let's hear it for him! Oh, what a year, a tremendous performance. Absolutely tremendous. Oh, that's better. There we go. Don't do it just yet, Simon. Okay, you did the winning, you can do the opening. Right, now he's done that, I think it's safe to go and have a few words. I'll tell you what, I'll talk to Kathy first. She's prettier than Simon, just. Oh, she's having a drink out here, we're all right. Kathy, had you seen anything like this type of motorcycle racing before?
It's my very first time, and I have to say it's like a wonderful day. Everyone's so friendly. It's really good fun.
Well, thanks for coming and thanks for being a part of our Super Days on board. Simon, yeah, must be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, it's been a great time when I was in the beach. It's fantastic. You know, what can I say? I think that's fantastic. I was so worried about when it's day. It was fun to me. The grass track is really good. You know, to stand here. It's just the same as what I do Germans and Swedes and Yankees. You know, so national anthem.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, not super fun. Oh, Simon, what are the plans in the winter? Are you going to Aussie or are you going to have a rest or what? You've had such a busy time.
Well, I went a huge holiday in Denmark on Friday night, which was really kept me here. So, you know, it's a great holiday. Forgetting about that, I'd just like to say as well, I get the chance to stay to Ian, you know, and the boys. It's definitely the best track I've ever had there. He's done a fantastic job with the showing and everything. You know, I think this year the 8th race is the best grass track I've ever had in England. You know, I'd like to say thanks to them for putting in a great show for you all.
Thank you, Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Wigg, the winner of the Masters 1989. While running that series for Paul Fry for Clayton Williams and Simon up on the top there. Well, I think, what are we going to do outside of grass, fellas? Solos first. They're being organised.